Welcome. This is the Drupal usability meeting for April 26th, 2024. I'm Benji Fisher, sharing my screen and moderating, and also present are Scott, Quinn Pham, Ralph Kohler, and Thomas Howell. So I think we'll start by returning to the issue we discussed last week, which is 3296190. Support the multiple attribute for the email element. I know two things have happened since last week. So someone working on the issue, Hitchshock, suggested that our recommendation, the email address, quote, quote, is not valid. He suggests that that is potentially confusing, less helpful than other things. And also Ralph mentioned on Slack that the empty string is particularly problematic with screen readers. A screen reader would just read out the error message as the email address is not valid. Do I have that right, Ralph?
Yep.
So I think I said on Slack that in that case we should go back to separate messages for empty and other invalid email addresses. Personally, I still think that we should list all of the invalid email addresses at once, rather than just mention the empty ones, have them resubmit the form and get the message about any other invalid email addresses there might be. And Ralph, I see you've put two links in the chat now. Do you want me to open one of those now?
Just the second one. The Slack one has the video of the recording demonstrating the problem with screen readers.
Okay, I'm not sure this will work with Zoom, but
Summary button. 16-point system font default a shade of gray 14 shaded.
do you hear what the screen reader is saying?
The volume is low, but yes.
Okay, let me see if I can increase the volume. I can mute myself. Where are my audio settings? Now, while I'm screen sharing, I don't see the option in Zoom to change my audio settings. I only see the option to mute myself. Usually there's a little menu next to that for audio settings. Well, let's play the rest of the recording. It's 9 more seconds.
Email address is not valid. Use the form. Blank underline a shade of medium blue. User at example.com. Blank a shade of gray 14 inches and separate the addresses with a comma.
I think actually I paused at a very inopportune time. Let's listen to that, a few seconds of that one more time.
System font default a shade of gray 14 shaded. Email address is not valid. Use the format. Blank underline.
The email address is not valid. So yeah, it screen reader ignores the empty string there. So I think pretty clearly we have to have some separate message for empty email addresses. Do people agree that it should still be one message rather than a message just for the empties?
I actually made a comment on the MR on this ticket because we can actually eliminate this. There's a code mistake and we can eliminate this whole empty message altogether. I will put this link on it. I don't know if you can see that. So yeah, this whole link can be, because they're taking in the string, they're breaking it apart and exploding it, and then they trim it. They actually create this empty string, but they could just eliminate the entire empty string from it, and then we just don't have this error at all. Because they're also then saving the data and on the page load, resaving the string that they filter, that would just filter that out completely.
What if they have two commas?
Then it's an empty thing and it just gets filtered out. We just know that we take the responsibility of knowing that it's null and remove it from the user. Because we trim the white space, we're just continuing that to help the user already eliminate their own error.
Okay, weren't you the one last week who said that we shouldn't hide that error? We
I
should
know,
notify.
I know. I said that we shouldn't be changing the user's input. But
Okay,
since we are changing the user's input, let's change it for the best.
okay.
Yeah. And for a penny.
Go ahead, Ralph.
If that would be possible, that would be the ideal variant, because that's my ideal approach last week. Just stripping it away and just mentioning if the email format is wrong. And that's what I've mentioned, I think, on the thread. The third point of error messages to avoid. The first point is basically to avoid them in the first place, and it would exactly that case. So a +1 for me.
Okay. Yeah, I think last week I was the one who pointed out that we are trimming white space. As Scott recalls. And I don't feel strongly about whether or not we remove empty email addresses. If we do remove email addresses, should we notify the user when they submit the form? 3 empty email addresses removed or ignored?
Yes, that's fair. It's fair to tell people that we've altered the data for.
And we get a thumbs up from Ralph.
And that can be done too in code.
And a thumbs up from Thomas. Okay. Yeah, so I don't see your comment on the merge request. I'm just
On line 95 of email.php.
95 of email.php. I'll make sure I'm looking at the right file. Old 95 or new 95? Huh,
Oh.
I don't see your comment there. It should also be copied to the issue, right?
Yeah. No, mine says pending. Why does it say pending?
I think you haven't submitted the comment yet.
Oh, finish review. Okay. Do you see it now?
Uh, do, 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 do.
No. Where'd it go?
Yes, it's there.
Okay. Publish. There we go. Thanks.
Okay, so let's see. I was the one who commented last week. I guess I can add another comment today, unless someone else wants to. Okay. Good. So we certainly have time to look at another issue. There was one that Stephen Musgrave suggested, and then there's this one that, not this one. Close those. This issue. Scott, you're the one who suggested this, right?
Yeah. Oh, so yeah, yes, this is for the navigation module that's going in. I don't
Okay,
know.
so shall I continue sharing my screen, or would you like to take over?
I can if give me 1 second.
Anyway, for the sake of the recording, it's issue 344-3556. And yes, this is the contrib navigation module, but I think the plan is to get that into good shape and then move it into core. And we've looked at some issues from this module before, and several core contributors are working on this. So I haven't seen this particular issue before, but the layout navigation user gets trapped on layout form. So I guess unless someone else has a site already set up, I can get the module installed pretty quickly.
Sorry, I'm just trying to share. I have it installed. Oh, sorry. There we go. I just got to grant you. Oh, I got to quit meeting.
And I have a site running. I'll put the link into Slack. As usual, you can log in as admin. And that's what I have over here. So user can place blocks but gets stuck on the form page. Only breadcrumb on the page to escape. That description isn't detailed enough for me to see how to reproduce the problem. Can you walk me through it, Scott?
He has to quit and rejoin.
Okay.
He will return in a minute. But yeah, I was also unable to reproduce it based on that. Steps to reproduce.
Let's see, he did add this screenshot. Maybe that'll give a hint. Save, discard changes. So I guess the idea is to use Layout Builder.
Sorry, hello, I'm back.
Hi.
So yeah, what you've probably just discovered is they're moved over using Layout Builder for the position of it. Would I be able to share, if you mind?
Of course.
1 second. Hopefully Zoom.
Well, this is odd. Now I can't stop sharing. So I'm going to try leaving the meeting and rejoining.
Okay.
Oh, no, Zoom isn't going to let me do that either. So I'm afraid I'm stuck sharing. I'll have to look into this. So yeah, I guess I spoke too soon when I said, of course. So you'll have to walk me through it.
Sure. I don't see your screen now. I think I've dropped your screen.
Do other people see it?
Nope.
All right. Have to share it again.
Yes, it's working.
All right. So what do I do? I'm editing an article and I can go to layout. Is that what I should do?
No, sorry. So in configuration, please go to configuration, user interface. And the first option for navigation blocks. So what's happened is, oh, you're on the, okay, so, okay, you're on the old version. You're on the old version stuff. So all of this is in the MR for core right now. This hasn't actually gotten back to the contrib project. So you can't see that here. You can't see the layout here. This is the old block placement tool still. So maybe, I'm sorry. So maybe we shouldn't review this now. This might take too long or be too difficult to review right now. I can come back to this next week or something.
Okay, well, actually, let me try again to stop sharing. Now, I still see the stop share button, so I assumed that that it didn't work. But if you don't see my screen, you can try sharing yours.
I'm sharing mine. Which screen are people seeing to make sure?
Yours, Scott.
Oh, sorry. Do you see Firefox or do you
Yeah,
see
Firefox.
Okay.
Yours.
I just wanted to make sure. So this is the screen where I wanted to get to. Oops, I probably just left it in a broken state. Sorry, I have some work in motion that was going on at the same time. Let me bring this back really quick. 1 second, sorry, let's do a reset.
I guess I'm the only one who can't see your screen.
Okay.
I think Zoom is prompting me to update, and maybe I should do that sooner rather than later. Who knows? Maybe it'll fix this bug.
Okay, so here, I'll take a screenshot right now of my screen. So this, and dump that into a chat someplace if I can.
Yeah, I can see the chat.
Not sure if this is the right thread. Is this the right thread? Yes, okay. Sure, that's the right one. Okay, I'll drop that on. So this is what it currently looks like, so you can see. And everybody else, of course, can see my screen. So the new layout tool is no longer the block layout tool and is a layout feature. So that it gives a user comes to the page. Sorry, I also just need to enable help. Or maybe it won't let me. It won't. Okay, sorry. There's a message that there's 2 lines of text that should be here. Just as helper text in general. But inevitably, the new tool, of course, just uses layouts for people to actually place blocks and arrange them. Sorry, my code might be in a bad state because of what I've just done. So you can just arrange blocks, add a new block in general. The problem in general is, of course, is that once you save or discard your changes, you're actually stuck on this page. The show content button allows people to instantly go between like block placement and seeing what the content is, of course, which is a general feature of layout. But even when you're here, now these menu items are not clickable at all. When you hit save and make your changes or discard your changes, you're still sort of basically stuck on this page and there's no way to get out. This is why I've opened up this ticket to say we need some links on this page to help a user get off this page once they're here. So that's where I'm just sort of picking up by just introducing a new moving the show content button up above save and adding 2 links below it to help a user get to either the front page or the administration of the site.
Hang on, Scott. I think Ralph has a comment or a question.
A question. Could you please move to another admin page and then go to that page? If that is that the page you get directly to, or is some step in between?
Oh, what just happened? I'm sorry.
Oops.
Sorry, my site's not running well enough right now. So sorry, say that again.
I just wanted to ask if you could go to another page and then move to that new layout page just to see if that's the exact page you end up on, or if there's an intermediate step in between.
No, so like any other page on like going through Navigate, you just end up going directly to this page, and there'd be 2 lines of text on top that are off because the help module is off of my envelope.
Okay.
So you just get here and you'd see this. Straight up.
Okay. That's for my
Sorry,
question.
Yeah, you get to the navigation page and you would see this. So you go around, place your blocks, arrange blocks. And there's nothing else that happens on this page, right? You're on a page where you are editing the tool that you're using to travel the site. And that's the problem. So once you hit a save or discard, you're just kind of stuck here. And it took me a bit to realize that the only way to get out of here was if I just used the breadcrumb. So the question of the ticket is to how best help a user get off this page once they've done it. I was thinking, and that's why I say just put in some footer links. The other option that I was kind of thinking about was to change this to a drop button and have a drop button with save go to front page or save go to administration. But the drop links, of course, might be more difficult.
Question on that. Do we have other similar case like this when user clicks save or discard?
I think that this page is actually so uniquely new in Drupal that there's no other example of it. This is such a very new use of layouts to edit itself that no place else in Drupal does this. So this trap doesn't happen in other places. Like on node edit, when you're creating a layout, you're on the page, you hit save. A user knows that they're going to go to view or whatever first, right? But we don't have any action tabs here. There's no other way for a user to do anything else. A user doesn't do anything else on this page except for add or remove an order.
I see, interesting.
Ralph, go ahead.
I think I'm with Scott in regards of maybe a drop button might be a good option here, or the pattern we've used before is basically to have one button save and go to somewhere and save and just save. But yeah, question is where the user wants to return. And therefore, yeah, it's tricky. And on the other hand, I'm not sure how accessible that new layout is in regards for screen reader users compared to the previous table-based one.
Yeah, the change, this was introduced swiftly over the last week, right?
Okay. Last week I haven't really followed the navigation.
Yeah, no,
changes.
I've been mostly on the main MR2 core right now, just because of the work that's been going on for the MR.
Yeah. That I haven't followed at all because I thought it's just technically in regards of the merge request and nothing new functionally. So, I think I have to test that with VoiceOver at least. But I have doubts. It might be that easy to approach for screen reader users.
I understand. So I guess in general to say that you also recommend possibly looking at a drop button. I'll add a drop button as a suggestion for it. Yeah, no, I guess that's okay. So that sounds like a good next step. And would anybody have any other thoughts? Sorry.
And I think, yeah, some description or providing some sort of context at the place where at the moment the warning message is placed would be helpful as well. Because at the moment it's just edit layout of negation layout and just those two buttons.
So there is supposed to be 2 lines of text here. And that's just because I have something else set up. I've broken my layout right now, so that doesn't help. So there is supposed to be 2 paragraphs on top that just actually state, sorry, I'll show you. It actually just says this on top. This toolbar. Or it does describe the fact that links or forums are disabled because and that's what it should be on the page. I have another bug open around that.
And just could you go over to the layout again, please? And those blocks are drag and droppable?
Yeah, they are. My local's broken right now, sorry again, but these would just be draggable blocks that they can do. You can configure. Oh, it's gonna work. You can configure the block, opens the settings tray, and you handle the actual block settings for the menu blocks you added. Or if you're adding a block, this isn't going to work right now. If you had, oh no, sorry, it does work. Sorry. See, we have the user navigation shortcuts and the navigation user block as selectable items. Sorry, this is also some of my work that's in progress right now. But that's how the new feature works. So you add a new block, you select the menu you want, the navigation plugin blocks that you want, so that, or the actual shortcuts block, right? Those are what those are for people who may not know. Sorry. And this is the conversion from block UI, block builder.
And just one thought, would it make sense to illustrate to a certain degree? You have the outline of those regions, but to label those regions, that one is the content and the other is the footer, or however it's called, just to provide some sort of context to the user. At the moment, it's just a label-less outline.
I think we definitely need to have another ticket and conversation around this because we're definitely talking about other UX problems too, for sure. So you were saying region labels when placing?
Not only when placing, but just have a label in place there all the time.
Always labeled. And you brought up screen reader. I will bring that up in the UI meeting on Wednesday specifically. About
And just another question, does the footer region also have add block?
yes, so they can place things in here. This is a place block. So there are there's a content and a footer region right now.
Yeah, but I mean, on top you have that add block button, but in the footer, I don't see it.
You are correct. Oh, footer doesn't, okay, I'll just note that, footer. That might be a bug. I've seen the button come and go, but I'll just note that. But you can switch in the thing because when you actually go to edit any of them, you can move them, and in that, sorry, that my local, it brings up a screen here that lets somebody pick the region and it shifts between it, so I can actually move that
Okay.
up.
So maybe that label in the settings tray should be navigation region rather than just navigation, if I understand what it does.
You mean this one here?
Yes.
These are the navigation plugins. So these are menu blocks and these are the navigation plugins.
Okay, so that's not what I thought it meant. Okay.
And talking of microcopy, the title or the H1 might be also optimized because at the moment you have layout twice, edit layout for navigation layout.
Okay.
Maybe simply, yeah, strike the second layout, just edit the layout for the navigation sidebar. Yeah, replace layout with sidebar might be the more appropriate term in that regard.
Actually, that
Yeah,
kind of works with yeah, well, just to note, I guess, if I can open it, or if I can get back to my site. No, I can't get back. The actual menu is still called navigation blocks or something too. The actual menu item is still called something worse. It's the third level menu. Lots of things. I only noticed one thing, so thank you for bringing up certainly these points. I will definitely bring up the screen reader, a need for that to be done on the weekly meeting, because that's definitely a bigger issue. I can open up issues around all these other smaller issues.
Yeah, the other option for the page title is edit navigation layout.
That sounds also good.
Mhm.
And
Thank
I'm
you.
looking at the regular layout builder on my site, and I don't see any anything like that H1 that we would want to be consistent with. Although perhaps that's because I'm using the front end theme on an Umami site.
Say that again. Sorry, could you just say that again?
I'm looking at layout builder, editing a node on an Umami site,
Yep.
and I don't see anything like the page title edit layout for navigation layout. I do not see edit layout for this article.
Right. Okay.
So there isn't any consistency there that that would dictate what title to use here.
Okay.
And one other detail in the sidebar on the right, the create content block button. Are you able to add content blocks here?
Oh, I don't even know. Wow.
Because technically I thought it would be only menu blocks and navigation blocks that could be added.
I don't even know. I will ask about that one. Create content. Create.
And I think it's something I've raised in the context of the move of the other block items in 10.1. And there's a still open issue about the labels in Layout Builder and exactly that labeling. And maybe it would make sense to change it from menus to menu blocks and navigation blocks, like it's currently named on the old page. No, there's also just navigation in menu. But the button is called navigation block. So yeah, maybe choose a block and make it menu block and navigation block. Might be
Although the
more
title at the
explicit.
top of the settings tray is choose a block, so I'm not sure that you need to repeat the word block.
Yeah, yeah, true. Yeah, but yeah, it's front loaded in that way. Screen readers could jump out at any point, and same for people skimming through. You just have to read the first part and then you can drop the basically block if you don't need it.
So menu blocks and navigation blocks. It's still relatively short, and as you say, it is front loaded. So I think that's okay if you think it's better.
It's more explicit and clear, and that way, if you're unsure about the context, you have at the moment without block, you have to go up, check, insert in case you have a small working memory, and then you go down again. And that way you would ever have everything in place.
Okay.
And also the case with screen readers, you can't just quickly look up and go down again. So in that case, yeah, I'm more drawn to be more explicit, a bit more verbose in that regard for setting the context.
Okay.
Anyone else have comments on this? Okay. Scott, you have what you need?
Yes, thank you. More than enough.
Great.
Thank you, guys.
All right. We still have 20 minutes left.
Yep.
Let me try sharing again. And I guess unless someone has another idea, we'll have a look at the issue that Stephen Musgrave raised. Yeah. So let's see, here's the issue for today's meeting, and Ralph's copied the link. I haven't had a chance to look at this yet. It's issue number 3306820. Show machine name in manage form display and manage display table row. Do we have a screenshot here?
Yeah, I have the patch applied in case you want to look at the site.
Okay. So let's so the manage form display for a content type. I guess this is showing what it would be with the patch, and let's have a look at what it's like currently. So going back to my Umami site, structure, content types, and I want the manage form display. So the point is, you see the labels of the fields, but you don't see the machine name of the fields. And in the screenshot, there's an extra column to show the machine name. And if I open Ralph's site, whoops. Oh no, I just opened the issue again. Did you,
One sec, I've added the link to my
thank you.
share.
That's what I was hoping to see.
The usual.
Right, because I wasn't able to see the screen while Scott was sharing. I opened my laptop and I had to push my laptop out of the way to get it to my keyboard.
Yeah, check article.
Okay, so here's a live example. That's probably preferable to the screenshot. So I'll just close that.
And just a disclaimer, it applies also to the manage display view. There's also a machine column added.
Where's here? It does not have that. So people are familiar with the manage display, manage form display screens. Have you ever wished that you had access to the machine name on this page?
Yes, we do.
Okay. Yeah, I think so too. So it seems like a good idea to me. So what's the specific question that we were asked? Why was this tagged for usability review? Is there a specific question?
They just want to have a sign off because it's a change to the UI and they want to follow the protocol. So
Okay. Um, so
Um,
Simo already commented on it. Go ahead.
just one additional comment. I've posted the link to the thread in the front end channel. Because what is his name? Mario Hernandez and Mark Conroy commented on there because B. Martinez brought up that issue there. And Mario Hernandez brought up the point that, for example, on managed fields, you already have the machine name. So, but the point is, with that patch applied, you also have now on the managed form display and on the managed display, and in particular on the managed form display, not only the machine names for the fields, but also the machine names for the base fields. And I've asked there if I'm not a front-end developer, just ask out of curiosity if the machine names for base fields like lang code, created status, and so on are needed for theming at some point or regularly or not. And yeah, the feedback was that it is needed from time to time.
And the answer is that sometimes they are necessary.
Yeah.
So,
And to getting to those base field machine names, you would have to use, like Mario said, the dump function or debug on the template.
so yeah, I'm actually a little surprised that I don't see them here. Do I see them on the form display?
Yeah.
Yes, they're shown on the form display. So I guess the context of that discussion, I guess, is that maybe we don't need the machine names here because someone can always click over to the Manage Field tabs.
Yep.
And
That's no good if you have like dozens of fields on a content type.
yeah, I agree. I don't think that switching tabs is a good alternative. I think it is convenient to have it right here. And as Ralph pointed out in that Slack thread, there are base fields that don't show up on the managed field tabs at all. So that's two arguments in favor of adding the column here and not requiring people to go over to the managed field tabs. Try to think of disadvantages. I guess the obvious thing is that it's a complicated page already and we're adding more information to it. Less is more.
These are short machine names, right? These are nice examples of short machine names, but people will get more complex names and longer strings. So I guess that's what they were. One of the comments was talking about it taking up too much screen space, right? Of if there's longer names, more names, same with the actual field names, then the actual space you need to see the formatter summary is really bad. And that's something that people want to see more. So we're talking about the screen real estate. Somebody made the comment on the ticket about combining the tag as they put it as a subscript on the title. So what he actually said to use, which was not, of course, a good idea in itself, but to combine the title and the field into the one line, or one cell, different lines on the same cell.
Let me just give an example of the first objection. People do sometimes use long field names.
50 characters, I think it is. Field names can be up to 50 characters. And a label could be, I think, 500. I don't think it can be more, but 500 for sure. Or if over 256, I'm not sure. 256 for sure.
If you reload the page, I've added another field with up and about in content type B. Sorry. I'll add another one for the article you're currently in. 1 second.
Oh, but I lost what I did with my browser tools, Ralph.
Oh,
So should I reload now? Will I see?
1 sec. I create a new one in the article content type. Just make it extra long.
And then what happens on a narrow screen? Ah. Okay, on a narrow screen, we just see the field label and the widget.
And you have the option show all columns, the link on top. If you narrow the width down again. Yeah, the show all columns link.
I don't see it. Where is it?
Down, 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 right
Is it
above
the
field.
table?
There.
There,
Yes.
yeah.
And when I do that, I can scroll and see them all. All right, so now should I reload the page? Will I see the things you added?
Yeah.
Okay, a very long label and a moderately long machine name. And that it wraps this text in the widget details column. It doesn't hide it. It is sort of annoying that it's wrapped. Autocomplete matching : new line contains.
Yes, that's hyphenating too. But that's
Okay. Yes. Um, yeah, totally out of scope for this issue, but maybe instead of just giving the form builder the option to say which columns are hidden or not, we should have a way like spreadsheets give you the option of hiding particular columns, and maybe Drupal tables should have something similar. But again, totally out of scope for this issue. So that's the main objection, that especially when labels and machine names are long, there's less space available for the widget details. And Scott, remind me, you mentioned a couple of other drawbacks.
Well, sorry, the suggestion that the one person made was to combine the columns, and his thought was to wrap it with a subscript tag to help differentiate the title from that. But I think that would be, the suggestion would be like stronger, something like a down level element, then you have a title and a data element that would help define if they combine the columns, I think is the only other suggestion to make.
Okay, so in the case of very long labels and long machine names, that wouldn't, I guess it would. It would make the page longer going top to bottom, but it would remove the extra column. So we'd again have more width available for the other elements.
People could also limit the width of the title field to only be like 300 characters max. That could be done in CSS and then keeps the priority on the columns. But that's a cross theme. Right? It's a cross theme. I'll show you that.
Yeah.
I think this is fine. I think a comment. I think this is fine that it's on both and a separate column. The screen real estate can be fixed in theme level, right? So it's hiding columns, so that's good. That's just Drupal core feature, so that's good. It's hiding the column, so at least on small breakpoints, the user
Right.
has to be able to get to the data still. It's useful still. It's available. So in that respect, it's fine. I don't think combining it into one column is better if we just have to double down on semantic.
Combining it into a
I've actually done
single.
that in the past on projects. It's good for some circumstances, but it depends on the client. I wouldn't do it for Drupal as a whole.
So Ralph, you're not clear on the suggestion of combining columns?
No, I just wanted to say combining columns has the downside in regards to screen readers again. With columns, you have a clear labeling, and if you move it within a single column there and place the machine name underneath for sighted users, it works, but for screen reader users, it might be challenging. So I'm more in favor of going with an extra column.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with that. Okay. So do we have consensus on going forward with this change, that it's an improvement? Get a thumbs up from Scott. I agree. Quinn agrees. Ralph agrees. Thomas agrees. Great. My evil twin doesn't have anything to say. Oh, wait. Here we go.
Maybe your evil twin should have thumbs down.
No, even my evil twin agrees. Okay.
Counting the voting cards.
Great. And who wants to leave a comment to that effect?
I could, but do we have any recommendations or just okay? I don't think we have anything in particular.
Yeah, I don't think we recommended any changes to the current behavior.
Yeah. Okay.
Great. We have a few minutes left. Any final words?
Yes, one brief addition. I've left a comment and tagged the ones of you who've attended the meeting a few weeks ago about the unpublished issue. If you remember, I think I tagged you, Benji, Scott, and Thomas, as well as not sure who. Simo was the one who was also attending. And if you could take a quick look later, if there's anything else I've missed, but I've worked through the entire video and did some more testing, and yeah, just read through it and if you should revisit it or if it isn't necessary, because from my perspective, it wouldn't be necessary to revisit, and we could I could write up the comment as is outlined in the comment there on the Slack thread.
Okay. I guess the only other comment I have is that DrupalCon is in 2 weeks, and I should look at the schedule and figure out whether I want to try to run the meeting from DrupalCon, or ask if someone else is available to run it. But I guess I can talk about that next week. So thanks all for coming. Certainly be here in 1 week and maybe in 2 weeks when I'll be at DrupalCon.
Thanks a
Thank
lot.
you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Nice weekend, everyone.
Thanks off.